Hey guys, this is going to be a video on a method I created called Z5. What Z5 is a way to reduce the 5x5 into a 3x3 such that all the edges are oriented so that you can perform a ZZ solve for the 3x3 stage. What ZZ is basically a way to, it's at the beginning of the solve, you find all your bad edges, right? And then from there, you go ahead and you orient them, and then you build a line. Then you solve your blocks. Your left and right blocks, so that your first two layers are solved. And then you can do things like COLL or ZBLL or whatever, and for the last layer, because you always have a yellow cross. So that's what ZZ is. For 5x5, for bigger cubes in general, you can't really do ZZ with normal reduction because ZZ requires a lot of inspection time. So in this, with this method, you can use ZZ because you're doing edge orientation while you're solving your edges. So with that in mind, let's get started. For this entire video, I'm just going to assume you solve ZZ with blue and green front and white bottom, because that's how I did it and that's how most people start out doing. So that's how I'm going to teach the method in this tutorial. Now there's one difference for centers. Other than this, it's all the same, so just solve centers the way you normally do. But the one difference is if you don't solve with white and yellow first, like in this case I did blue and green first, you would have to slice back, because normally when you're here you would slice, turn, and then start doing your edges, right? But in this case you would have to slice back. That's the only difference for centers. For edges is where you have to focus on edge orientation while building them. So here I built this edge, and the first thing you have to do is the way you store it. You have to orient it while you're storing it, if that makes sense. So basically, for white and yellow edges, you want the white and yellow stickers to be you want the white and yellow to be adjacent to the centers. So for this case, you wouldn't want orange to be right here, because now this edge is not oriented. So you want to put the white like that, so now that edge is oriented. So for white and yellow edges, that's how you want that to be. And then, like I said, blue and green front. If you're blue and green front, for these E-layer edges, the other four edges, the red, green, red, blue, orange, green, orange, blue, blue and green has to be on top or adjacent to white and yellow centers. So I'll go ahead and build blue, one of the E-layer edges. So see that? So right here. So for this case, I built this edge right here, and you'd want green to be on top. So you'd solve it like that, put it away like that, because if you put it away like that, that's a bad edge now, that's not oriented. So you want to put it away like that. So I'll go ahead and solve the rest of the edges like that. One other thing, when you're flipping an edge, you want to be sure that you're not flipping, so like I want to flip this edge, I want to be sure not to flip an already oriented edge. So I want to flip a bad edge or an edge that's not solved. And the way you know which edge you're flipping is if you're flipping this edge right here, then you're going to be flipping this edge right here. And if you're flipping this edge right here, you're going to be flipping this edge right here. Whatever edge is in that position. So I'm going to flip this. This edge is going to flip. So I'll just show you. If this edge is here, and I flip this edge, this edge will be unoriented. See, that's unoriented now. So you want to put an unsolved edge there so that when you flip it, it's not going to mess up any orientation you've already done. So okay, so once you're done with first 8 edges, what I do is I build my EO line. That's just how I usually do it. You don't have to do that. It's just something I decided would be best for me because sometimes when I do reduction with CFOP, I will actually end up doing things or building my cross during my edge building. So that's kind of what I did here in this case. So what I do from here is I have 4 edges in the E layer, and I'm going to be flipping one of these edges back and forth as I flip edges around. So let's say I want to flip this here with this, so I'm going to flip this orange and white edge. So now that edge is solved. Now I did notice this is now not oriented, so I can just reorient that edge that I flipped, right? This edge that I flipped when I built that edge, I can just orient that with that edge. So that's something you can do or think about in your solves. I'm going to go ahead and solve this, which is going to flip this edge. So that edge is now flipped. This is solved, and it's also oriented, so I can't really do much about that. I'm going to go ahead and flip this, which will also flip this. And then slice back, flip, it's going to also flip this. And this is going to be, actually, now this one's going to be unoriented. So this is not oriented, and this is not oriented. So now you only have 2 edges to orient, so you can orient those 2 edges. And now you have all your edges oriented. And you can just go on with a normal 5x5, or a normal ZZ solve, excuse me. So, yeah, I don't really need to do much anymore. So it's basically just solve the rest as you would for ZZ. So thank you for watching, and I'll come out with a walkthrough solve for Z4 method, which it's different than 5x5 and up because you can solve 2 edges at once for the Z4 method. But for the Z5 method, you can apply this to 6x6 and 7x7 as well. So yeah, thank you for watching.